Alright, so let me set the scene. This past weekend I woke up after a night out with the fellas, brutally, spiritually hungover. It felt like someone snuck into my room while I was sleeping and hit me in the temple with a hammer. You know the kind, eyes crusted shut, shit your pants kind of hangover. Anyway, I decided almost immediately that I would not be getting out of bed for the rest of the day, and to pass the time, I decided to turn on my TV and binge the entirety of Gen V Season 2 in an attempt to get up to speed in time for the upcoming final season of The Boys. And I don't think I liked it very much. Now, look, I know I'm late. This show came out months ago. You've all moved on. Some of you have probably already forgotten it existed, which honestly is kind of my whole point. I watched season 1 week to week back when it came out, and I am a massive fan of The Boys, and somehow this thing just completely slipped past me. It came and went without a trace, and my running theory for why that is after sitting through all 8 episodes is because it is the worst kind of TV you can make in the streaming era. It's boring. It's not offensively bad, but it isn't some masterpiece of the dramatic arts either. It's just boring. Profoundly, almost impressively boring. And the crazy part is, this is The Boys universe. Do you understand how mid your script has to be to make something boring in this universe? This franchise built its entire reputation on pop culture satire and being the most insane, crude, disgusting, boundary-pushing thing on television. Not by accident, but by design, specifically because the creative team knows that if they ever stop swinging, you'll pull out your phone. If you can't keep people's attention when literally any scenario is on the table, your plot is really fucking boring.
In 1861, a small community of fine white Mississippi men founded this fraternity to protect their core values against the Northern aggression, and for no other reason.
But first, before I really dive into all that, I'm just going to start with the things that I actually liked and get all of that out of the way, because it'll make me sound more credible when I spend the next 10 minutes afterwards complaining. Simply from a pure production standpoint, this season is excellent. Technically, it probably is the best the universe has ever looked. The stunts, the special effects, the gore, it's all top notch, and it's all exactly what you'd expect at this point. And yet, somehow I watched 8 hours of this thing, and I'm struggling to recall a single moment that actually shocked me or made me laugh out loud.
Low angle?
Oh, shit.
This is some crap, Kate. I'm all like nostrils and chins from down there.
Maybe a few things here or there, but there's nothing here that reaches the highs of something like the opening to The Boys Season 3. Now, I don't know for certain if there actually were fewer gross out superpower moments this season. It's not like I've gone back and done a count of each exploding dick or exposed asshole or anything, but my gut says that the big swings just weren't landing the way they used to. And whether that's because the moments were actually fewer or because the dead weight of everything in between made them feel that way, the end result is still the same. It's a pretty damning testament to how flat the writing is that even the visceral superhero insanity that people show up to this universe for barely registered with me. Another thing I liked was Hamish Linklater as the villain Cypher. He is a phenomenal casting choice for The Boys universe, and if you're a Midnight Mass stan like myself, and you really should be, you'll know that this guy has the fucking sauce. He's just a really great villain. I mean, he's not as good as Homelander, obviously nobody can be, but he's really off-putting and scary when he needs to be, and he plays Cypher with this kind of cold intensity that, I don't know, it just really works. And then somehow it gets even better in the finale when his character has to completely shift personalities into this sad, pathetic little guy. He really just sells both sides of it. He's a veteran actor who is clearly running laps around everybody else in this cast. I wonder if that was his real asshole in episode 5. I guess I do remember one gross out moment from this season. I'll give you that, Gen V. Another thing that has to be commended is the handling of Chance Perdomo's passing. As I'm sure everyone knows by now, Chance Perdomo, who played Andre in season 1, tragically passed away before this season was finished. And the creative team made the decision to not recast him or write around it all. They made it a huge narrative point of emphasis, turning his real-life death into a central part of the show's emotional fabric. It's creative, it's original, and it is the best thing about this season by a pretty wide margin. I have never seen a show deal with a situation like this way before. I mean, they've got Amazon money. They could have pulled a Star Wars and deep-faked him into a goodbye scene, or they could have just recast him completely. It would have been easy enough, but they didn't. They made the death of Andre an emotional pillar of the season and gave the in-universe characters real space to grieve, which I'm sure had to have been difficult and kinda cathartic probably for all the actors involved. The moments where these characters grieve Andre are the only times season 2 feels like it has any real weight to it, and I really respect the creative team for not sweeping any of that situation under the rug and handling it the way they did. Hats off to them.
You would have been so proud of Andre. Sorry, I don't want to fuck you up. I just thought you'd want to know.
Tell me.
I mean, I just love that kid.
And while some characters take a big step back this season, we'll get to it in a second, others are still just as entertaining and thematically rich as they've always been. For example, Jordan Lee is still a fantastic character. Their power has so much potential for metaphor and real-world relevance, and the show handles it with subtlety and restraint for the most part. They don't really beat you over the head with what's going on there. It's just there, and it works, and you can take it or leave it, and it's refreshing for a series that is not known for its subtlety. And finally, as a diehard Supernatural stan, I am always happy to see them continuing to find ways to employ Supernatural alum on these shows. Alexander Calvert's character being a piece of shit rapist who doesn't have a dick while he's God and this lovable gooey dewy guy on Supernatural will always make me laugh. And that's about it for compliments, if I'm being honest. This show is made by a team of clearly incredibly talented and passionate people, and there will always be high points throughout a season of it because of that. But the foundation underneath it all is suspect at best. Primarily, the dialogue and monologues this season are a serious problem. Gen V Season 2 is packed with long, drawn-out, overly dramatic conversations between these characters about trauma and relationships and family and abandonment, and a large majority of them do not land for me personally. They go on forever. The acting frequently isn't there to carry the weight, and towards the end of the season, they happen at the worst times imaginable. Like, ladies, are we doing this right now? Cypher is literally butchering co-eds in the next room this very second, and you have been monologuing about sisterhood for 5 whole minutes. Every death that occurs while you do this is directly your fault. Get a move on.
He's fucking killing them.
Hey, what's happening?
Get the old kid in the seminar room. He's making everybody kill each other. He's fucking crazy.
Culling the herd.
What?
Oh, Polarity said Cypher wants to kill all the weak and useless soups. That's why he opened up the seminar. He's just gonna mow them all down, one group at a time.
Unless you come in to save them.
Jordan, look, I know there's a chance. Like a really fucking humongous chance that you're never gonna forgive me.
You can basically pencil in at least 3 sappy monologues per episode, and none of them are very good. My brain kept nudging me towards my phone every time Marie or her sister started rolling, like a little devil on my shoulder going, "You're not gonna miss anything, they're just gonna bring it up again, scroll for a little while." It is quite literally the opposite of show don't tell. This season just tells and tells and tells and tells, and it feels like it never ends. It drags the pacing down so hard, and when I realized I was only on episode 5, I genuinely considered dropping the show completely, because the idea of sitting through 3 more episodes like this felt like it was going to take a million years. But I did sit through them, and it did feel like a million fucking years, because that's the kind of internet know-it-all that I am. You can count on me. Obviously, the only real exception to any of this is any scene dealing with Andre. Those scenes land at a much better clip because obviously there's real emotional weight behind it all. Everything else just feels like the show trying to convince you it's more profound than it actually is. It feels like this season is trying to be this like soapy relationship drama with intermittent commercial breaks of superhero excess. Like it's Tell Me Lies, but with blood, guts, and buttholes. Don't even don't ask me how I know what Tell Me Lies is, all right? Just move on. None of this works. This universe also has a real status quo problem. It's not just Gen V, it happens in The Boys, and it looks like, unfortunately, it's going to keep happening. This is a TV trope that drives me absolutely fucking insane, and Gen V is the worst offender so far. After going through a mass casualty event and being sent to a secret underground torture dungeon at the end of season 1, these characters just go back? I understand that the show tries really hard to write justifications for that, but it just never really worked for me. The idea that these characters would return to the school that imprisoned, tortured, and murdered one of them because it's actually the safest place for us does not track. No matter how many times they have Marie protest, it can't hide the fact that you can see the show's scaffolding through the dialogue. Gen V is a show set on a college campus, so even if it doesn't make any sense, Amazon wants them back on a college campus. The idea of Kate sitting in a lecture on Shakespeare after joining the Seven, throwing people in internment camps, and having her forearm blown off just feels really bizarre. There's this dissonance whenever they're back on campus doing college stuff that never fully goes away. And honestly, this is a structural problem that goes beyond just a few scenes and gags. The college setting was the initial hook for this spin-off, but I just kind of feel like that hook doesn't have any legs as a long-term premise. It's a scenario-based premise as opposed to a character-based one, which means that the show keeps forcing these characters back to a setting that they've narratively outgrown season after season. Speaking of which, Kate and Sam. These two turned evil at the end of season 1, joined Homelander's side, and helped capture Kimiko and Frenchie in the end of The Boys season 4. And they just get to go back to school? The show weirdly waves it away as the weirdest summer internship ever, and nobody around them seems particularly upset with them that they literally sided with the guy who took over the country. And while these two do face some consequences for what they did at the end of Gen V season 1, they are never held accountable for the arguably worst decisions they made at the end of The Boys season 4. It's just kind of tonally jarring, the way that Kate and Sam are portrayed in The Boys versus how they are shown in this season. They just don't really feel like the same people at all. The Boys implies that they've been fully indoctrinated into Homelander's ideology and are a dangerous part of the Seven going forward. And then they're just kind of not. It's like their inclusion in the season 4 finale never happened. Also, I feel like the acting this season took a step back across the board, and I genuinely can't tell if that's because the writing got worse or because it was always like this and I'm just now noticing it. I don't want to be too much of a hater, but Jazz Sinclair as Marie is noticeably less compelling to me this season, and the actress who plays Marie's sister, what's the character's name again? I literally cannot tell you the character's name. I'm trying not to be an asshole, but I genuinely cannot remember it, and I watched it like 8 hours ago. Either way, Marie's sister is just really not good here, and that's a problem because these two are on screen together for the back half of this season constantly, but they have zero chemistry, zero spark, and every scene between them turns into a monologue off where nobody wins.
Annabeth, have you had any more visions? Nothing new. Okay, I need you to get out of here.
What the bloody hell was that?
I also feel like I should just clear the air. This show is full of incredibly talented people. Every single one of them has more talent in their pinky finger than I have in my entire body. So this is probably a writing issue more than anything else, but something is seriously not working, and when your two most prominent characters can't sell a scene together, you're in real trouble. In my head, this is a similar problem to what happened with Peacemaker Season 2. The creative team at the top is just spread too thin. Gen V and The Boys come out on a pretty consistent 1 to 2 year clip, so this might just be a case of the writing room running on empty. And I don't personally blame them. They're making that Jensen Ackles prequel, the Mexico spinoff, or whatever the fuck they're doing, and a lot of manpower and attention is probably going towards The Boys' final season. And on top of that, they had to deal with Chance's passing. They were clearly backed into a corner with a tight deadline, and they just couldn't rise to the occasion. We've all had it. That explains it. I don't totally know if it excuses it. Also, like I said earlier, I genuinely enjoy Hamish Linklater in this season, but the Cypher twist is one of the most predictable things I've seen in recent memory. I am not a smart person. I want you to understand that about me. I have been diagnosed by a doctor with shit for brains, and even I put it together the second that Kate found that burned body in Cypher's house. If I got it that fast, the gig is up. Overall, just like Peacemaker Season 2, the plot is just thin. Like really thin. They get out of Elmira, they go back to school, they get into some gross superhero shenanigans, there's a lot of relationship melodrama. Marie finds out that she's essentially Soup Jesus, she fixes everyone's problems, kills the dean, and joins Starlight. That's the season. I just don't feel like it's enough to fill 8 hours of TV, and to compensate for that, they pad the middle with so many monologues about abandonment and trust and human nature and blah, 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 blah. I am embarrassed to admit that the middle stretch of this season put me to sleep more than once. Remember, I was hungover. Okay, that's my excuse, but I also think that wouldn't have happened in a more entertaining season, like a regular season of The Boys. But all of that aside, here's the thing that really gets me. This entire season is essentially just a vehicle to power Marie up to Homelander levels so that she can play a big role in the final season of The Boys. That's it. That's the reason, and once you see it, you can't really unsee it. And here's why that frustrates me beyond just being narratively unsatisfying. I don't want Marie to be a major player in the final season of The Boys. The Boys started with Huey and Butcher. It should end with Huey and Butcher. That's the story I care about. Having Marie swoop in, freshly leveled up from her own show, and take a significant role in the final confrontation with Homelander would feel really out of place. It's like if in Avengers Endgame, Captain Marvel became the main character after Infinity War, took a bunch of screen time away from the OG Avengers, and then was the one to fight Thanos in the finale instead of Tony Stark. And if you think I'm crazy, remember her solo movie came out between Infinity War and Endgame, so that was a real fear for a little bit there, kind of like how this season of Gen V is slotted in between the seasons of The Boys. Luckily for everyone, the Russo brothers understood the assignment, and they walked that Captain Marvel line perfectly. And at the very least, it seems like Kripke and team know that, because some of Eric Kripke's recent comments about the character of Marie as The Boys press tour has kind of ramped up are pretty telling. It's a rock and a hard place situation. This season they built Marie up to Homelander power levels, so if they use her to defeat him, she takes the win away from these OG characters in their final season, which sucks. If they don't use her, it renders this entire season of Gen V completely disposable, which also sucks. So then what was the point of any of this? What was the point of watching? Well, I mean, for Amazon, it was money. Obviously. Now, to be fair, at time of recording, The Boys Season 5 hasn't actually come out yet, so they could still surprise me. Maybe Marie uses her powers to save Starlight and Kimiko from the soup-killing virus, or something to that effect. Something that feels unique and unintrusive. Who knows? But until that actually happens, I'm going with this. Gen V Season 2 seemingly cannot escape the gravitational pull of its parent show. And unlike Season 1, which genuinely felt like it could exist on its own terms, this season can't stand up without the boys propping it up. Take the superpowers out and you have a below average college relationship drama. And even with the superpowers, the show forgets to actually use them in interesting ways for long stretches of time. It isn't particularly funny, and there isn't nearly enough pop culture satire or creative, weird, gross, inventive superhero stuff that made Gen V Season 1 and The Boys so fun to watch. It's crazy how much Chance Perdomo's presence is missed, not just emotionally, but narratively. That guy had a charisma and energy that the whole ensemble fed off of, and something is seriously missing without him. So, Gen V Season 2, is it the worst thing I've ever seen? No. Should you watch it? Honestly, probably not unless you're a completionist for the Boys universe. It's the kind of show that exists to be consumed and forgotten, which might be the most damning thing you can say about a piece of TV right now. It sits quietly in that uninspired middle. It's not bad enough to be interesting and not good enough to be worth your time. It is a solid hangover binge, recommended probably for die-hard fans of The Boys only. And that's everything I've got on Gen V Season 2, but please leave a comment down below if you agree or disagree, and also leave a like on the video. If you enjoy what I do here, it really helps let YouTube know it needs to show my videos to more wonderful people like you. And finally, do not forget to subscribe to the channel for more entertainment-related videos. Until next time, bye.